It's your girl Ash and I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be learning about the Troubles by feature history. This is something that took place in Northern Ireland. Not exactly sure what it's about, but I am about to learn and find out. Some of you may know I'm on this history journey. Relearning and learning about history is never too late to learn something new. If you guys haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Hit the red button so you can be a part of the family. Don't forget to give your girl a thumbs up. It definitely helps the channel. Enough of me talking. Let's get straight into this reaction.
Oh, diddly-dee. A leprechaun put a bum in me potato. Now for the Irish.
That's the only thing that I really know about, like, the Irish, St. Patrick's Day, like leprechaun, Irish pub. So this is a great video for me to learn more about the Irish, because I really don't know that much.
People having been disgusted and left, we can start. Hello and welcome to Feature History, featuring the impatiently awaited and source of much pester, the Troubles, a rather understated name for a 30-year-long period of sectarian violence at its finest. It formed both the issues and the culture of our contemporary Northern Ireland, and is such a relevant topic today, you can expect many unwanted opinions in the comments. Enough about that though, we have 2 videos worth of controversy to get through here and now.
So that means that I'm probably going to have to block and delete some people in comments.
And later when the second part goes up. For the source of the Troubles, you can go all the way back to 1169, with the Norman conquest of Ireland. But for the sake of brevity, I'm going to try to rush to the 20th century. Irish leaders for many centuries would struggle politically with English kings, and this peaked with the Protestant Reformation that saw the majority of England turn Protestant with their monarchy, and the majority of Ireland remain Catholic. A rebellion in the late 16th century saw new efforts to assimilate the Irish, by just replacing who the Irish were. Protestant English and Scottish were sent to Ireland to attempt to colonise the island, and saw success in the north, or as it is otherwise known by, Ulster.
Okay, so the Protestants and Catholics, they worship the same God, but the beliefs within the religion is same, correct? So this is what kind of like separated them and divided them, because they have different beliefs, correct? Comment down below and let me know if I'm right, because usually that's what it is with different religions. People are usually divided because the beliefs are different, but however they still worship the same God. And that's the craziest thing, that can like really divide people for, you know, that's just, I don't know, that's just, I hate that. I don't like it, but that's the way that it is. And me personally, I don't know, I don't like that. I just feel like if you believe in the same God, then you have similarities, but I know that what separates them is the beliefs within the religion. I don't know. But me personally, I don't like that. I don't like to see people divided, but I know everyone isn't always going to get along. It's not realistic, but I mean, I wish it was.
Following English Civil War and Glorious Revolution would see the Irish Catholics ally with the losing side, leading to penal laws being placed on them by the Protestant English Parliament. During the Great French Wars, the French would provoke a Protestant-led rebellion for Irish independence, which caused the British government to claim Ireland as a core part of their kingdom and bring them under further control.
So would that be considered like an invasion? Because it sounds like they were trying to help, but then if you take over, it's kind of like an invasion in a sense. Correct?
Concessions would be made with the Catholic emancipation in 1829, but it did little to improve their position. The damage had been done, and many Catholics were still made to live on the poorer land.
Wow.
A turning point would be the decimation caused by the Irish potato famine in 1845. 1 million deaths, exacerbated by British mismanagement, caused the Irish to demand for an Irish Parliament.
Hold on. Did he say mismanagement? How do you, I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. How do you mismanage to the point where millions die?
A turning point would be the decimation caused by the Irish potato famine in 1845. 1 million deaths exacerbated by British mismanagement caused the Irish to demand for an Irish parliament. Some demanded for full Irish independence, but the most popular movement was that of Home Rule.
I see nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. How do you mismanage to the point where millions die? At this point, they might as well take over and take care of their people. Comment down below. Let me know. How do you feel about that? I see nothing wrong with that. They can't really trust the British.
Did see a self-governed Ireland within the United Kingdom. Its bill would finally be passed in 1912, much to the scrutiny of the mostly Protestant Ulster loyalists in the north. It did, however, be placed on hold given the outbreak of the First World War. Some more radical Irishmen would come out against British rule in 1916, dubbed the Easter Rising. It did fail, but when the insurrectionists were executed by the government, the rebels would become martyrs. Their fringe movement turned to public outrage. 73 members of the Irish Republican Party, Sinn Féin, would be elected to the British Parliament in 1918 and would refuse to attend the Parliament in London, instead choosing to form an Irish Parliament in Dublin in 1919. This action would spark the War of the Independence that saw the Irish Republican Army brought together to fight for, well, an Irish Republic. The Anglo-Irish Treaty drawn up in 1921 would see a partitioned Ireland, one to be split between the mostly Catholic nationalist South and the mostly Protestant loyalist North. However, there was a catch, as there was a significant Catholic minority present in Northern Ireland. There was also a substantial amount of people generally not pleased with the treaty, refusing to recognise the compromised Irish Free State, and certainly refusing to recognise a British Northern Ireland. The stem of the IRA would break off as the anti-treaty IRA and fight in a civil war, only to be put down in 1923 and have the Free State be affirmed. These wars had caused a drift in Northern Ireland. The Protestant majority now suspected and occasionally feared the Catholic minority, who had grown to see the Protestants as oppressive and tyrannical. Over the course of several decades, segregation became normalized between the two communities. In hiring, education, and housing, Protestants and Catholics rarely mixed. The anti-treaty IRA still existed, however dormant. It had begun to see an influx of Marxists, much to the annoyance of the older, more traditional members. In the early 60s, Northern Ireland became subject to a civil rights movement, set on highlighting the inequalities in the province. Staunch loyalists feared it as an IRA front, a facade made to lead to a united Ireland. Civil rights protests began to lead to riots, as both...
Oh my goodness. So, basically, I did not know that they had their own civil rights thing going on, protesting. This sounds so familiar. Sounds like some of the stuff that, us black people go through. I never knew that they went through the same, that they were discriminated against. So it seems as if we share some similarities. I know we aren't the same, but it seems as if we do share some similarities. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel about that.
Partisan loyalists and the Royal Ulster Constabulary wished to crack down upon them. This led to a great number of Catholics rejecting the RUC's authority, attempting to create their own institutions, as seen in the self-declared autonomous area of Free Derry. Tensions had been rising steadily since 1966 and would climax in '69. A Protestant parade was set to move through a Catholic area of Londonderry, or Derry, or whatever you want to call it so you don't get mad. Protestants and Catholics would initially begin slinging any old crap at each other, leading to clashes.
Wow.
As the police moved in to crack down, battles erupted. This is known as the Battle of the Bogside. Hundreds of police and civilians were injured in the riots, and the officers of the constabulary would be pushed from the Bogside area.
So he's saying that the Protestants and the Irish Catholics, they were basically going at it, I'm assuming, and the army tried to step in. So this is basically a scene from that. I believe that's what he said. I don't want to run it back, but I believe that's what he said, unless I'm mistaken.
By the third day of rioting, things had become intense, and the Northern Irish Prime Minister requested British troops to relieve the officers. A battalion would intervene as a neutral force to separate the residents from the police and bring an end to the battle. With the news of the battle spreading quickly, agitated Irish nationalists began to break out in protest, and the Ulster Loyalists, fearing a total uprising, began to clash with nationalists, causing widespread violence across Northern Ireland. With an overwhelmed and accusedly biased constabulary not of much help, the British Army would have some serious trouble maintaining law and order. The army had initially been welcomed as a neutral force into the Troubles. The nationalists and loyalists both believed the army was there to protect them from the other. As the violence continued, however, some nationalists began to believe too little was being done to quell the violence against them. The divide in the population was clear, but beneath the surface another divide had formed. In the IRA, the traditionalist Republicans broke away from the Marxist bunch due to the perceived unwillingness of their leaders to protect nationalist communities. This new provisional IRA would soon dwarf its paternal organisation. They had, though, inherited a crumbling support. Few wanted the help of a paramilitary gang. This changed when in the Battle of St. Matthews in 1970, the local IRA beat back an armed loyalist mob in a shootout, serving to guard a Catholic nationalist enclave.
Wow.
It was a significant propaganda victory for the organisation. The British Army looked to disarm this violence. It would enter the infamous Falls Road area of Belfast, a nationalist.
But they don't look like they are being violent. Right here, it seems as if like they might be protesting, mothers with their children, and it seems as if like the army are the ones that basically I don't know, they seem like they might be the aggressor here.
Stronghold to seize armed dumps. They were thorough and harsh in their action, doing a significant disservice to their reputation. In the Falls Curfew, the army would come under harassment from both the IRA and angered residents, leading to the unfortunate death of 4 civilians. In August of 1971,
Wow.
the British Army and RUC would undertake Operation Demetrius, which sought to intern paramilitary members. However, their list held a strong nationalist bias, and the operation itself was subject to fumbles, leading to an upsurge in reactionary violence. Those interned reported torture. 2 IRA members were killed, 2 soldiers had also been killed, not to mention 20 civilians.
Oh my god.
It wasn't a good look, to say the least. With nationalist support of the army at an all-time low, and the hopes of defeating the IRA militarily dashed, the soldiers would be turned to local policing, checkpoint duty, and riot control. The unpopular policy of internment continued as well. Imprisonment without trial was seen as the only logistical way to deal with the unrest. In January of 1972, both the army and the police were deployed to oversee an anti-internment march in Derry. British paratroopers were present, and they had been despised for their role in killing 11 people during Operation Demetrius.
I mean, you
Small
can't blame
groups began to
people
lob
despising
rocks
them.
at the paratroopers, provoking the paratroopers to open fire in return. The crowd would
What?
quickly devolve into chaos. 28 people would be shot and 14 died. Given the circumstances of their
Because they were
deaths, the
throwing
paratroopers were
rocks?
decried for their actions, and the British Army at large felt the ire of the nationalists, Catholics, and more.
That was
In what would
abuse.
become known as Bloody Sunday, it had put a definite end to any idea of a honeymoon.
Oh wow, this was a Bloody Sunday too? I think there's like more than one Bloody Sunday.
Yes, I
right?
know this part was short, but tough tits. You'll get another one eventually, so don't sook.
Wow, that's
Until-
so sad. I hate when police or like, people of authority just abuse their force. Like, it's just, how do you just kill people just for throwing rocks at you? Like, that's so sad. It just aggravates me. Yeah, there's more than one Bloody Sunday as well. And that's crazy that they were like discriminated against. They had their own civil rights movement going on, protesting, kind of something like, what us black people go through. Never knew that we shared some similarities. We are different, but it seems as if we share some similarities as far as civil rights movement, being discriminated against, and just fighting, for our rights. I'm not exactly sure if the Irish still, you know, experience discrimination like how we do. I don't know. I'm not sure. I wonder if the IRA still exists. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Give me your thoughts and opinions. Negative comments will be deleted and people will be blocked. And don't forget to give your girl a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, fam.